can see, if you understand and see, what I mean about the energy of the youth. And again, I want to say the paradigm shift is a movement. And the goal of the paradigm shift is to improve the health and quality of life of 1 million human beings by the year of 2030. And I think about that because that makes me think about where my grandbabies are going to be at if they get inundated with this concept for the next 15, 16 years. So that's the goal. In order to make that happen, we need a movement. And I can't see, we must, let the youth head up this movement. The quality of everyone's life is definitely going to be greater. So I'm excited about that. Again, let's get back to the paradigm shift. And again, my guest, Mr. Grayman, I'm sorry, I didn't introduce you formally, but it's all good. So, why don't you tell a little audience about, who you are and your relationship to us at the paradigm shift.
Okay, like I said, Walter and I got together about 2.5 years ago, and it was then that he introduced the paradigm shift to me, but I didn't catch on right away. I wasn't engaging, and then there came a point in time in my life where I wanted to engage. I was seeking further knowledge of myself, of what I wanted to do with my life, where I wanted to go, and changes I needed to make, wanted to make, and I became more engaging. It was then that Walter truly, opened up to the 9 aspects of the awesome self to me, and it took a little bit to catch on, but it did, and I've been going with it ever since with Walter.
I'm not sure if you know what Gestalt is, Mr. Grayman, but I'm going to give you a little taste of that right now, okay? And so what I would like to ask you is this: since the 9 aspects of the awesome self, starts off with the premise that every single human being is an awesome entity. The first aspect is knowing that. So, my assumption based on what you said is that you had a hard time with that in the beginning. What do you think about the notion, the fact that I present that all human beings are awesome entities? What is your thoughts about that at this time?
Well, for me at this time now, I totally get it now. But at the time, it was hard to grasp. Change is a hard thing to grasp. A different model of life is a hard thing to grasp. Mm-hmm. Centering your whole way of thinking and acting is a hard thing to grasp. Mm-hmm. So, at the time, it was like going to closed ears, mm-hmm. So it did take a while, but like now I understand, what it is, and I totally believe it,
So you really believe that you're an awesome entity?
Totally.
Okay, all right.
I'm my own God.
You're your own, I like that. So let me ask you this here. Since we've been working, a lot of people are not aware of the 9 aspects of the awesome self. Are you aware of the 9 aspects? If I ask you here and put you on the spot right now, because you know exactly what I'm going to do.
Right.
Most people think, this is a, I'm going to have people and sit down and, do like the judges do and the DAs and the lawyers do, put you down and sit down and tell you what to say.
Had enough of that.
Yeah, right. I ain't going to do that, you know what I'm saying? I'm watching you grow into the greatness of yourself. So if you're nervous, just be nervous, shaking, and we'll keep it moving, all right? So, can you tell me what the 9 aspects of the awesome self are?
I know I can. It's,
and can you tell me in the order you think they go
well, the best that I can.
Well, go ahead.
Physical.
Okay, is that the first one?
That is the first one.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
Well, in order to be a physical being, something has to happen first.
Sexual.
Okay. So first aspect is the sexual aspect.
Right.
The next aspect is the physical. What's next?
Emotional.
Emotional? Are you sure?
Yes.
Well, so once the physical entity is here, right? Okay, and they get emotional. But there's something in between the physical and the emotional that they need to deal with in order for them to even be emotional with somebody.
Social?
Right on. All right, so we know a person's got to be born to be, they must be united by mother and father. When that union happens, it's all for everybody. He's a physical being.
Right.
After that, in order for that physical being to maintain, to continue to exist every single one must have social. Someone has to take care of that baby.
Right.
Okay? And then their baby, in their communication, in their limited greatness, communicates with those social beings through their emotions.
Right.
And then what?
Well, then emotional.
Okay, you got emotional.
Then intellectual.
Well, you're the coordinator intellectual, and you're very intelligent. Before they get to be intellectual, it's the spirit of those social entities, okay? The first experience of that child's spirituality has to do with the spirit of the caretakers that care for them. Okay. You did great, you know. You know
Should have wrote them down.
No. You know what's great about it? What's great is really the struggle. You understand what I'm saying? That's what we want you to know, that the greatness is still in the struggle. Okay? So, you know, we're growing into the greatness of ourselves. And that, you know, and that can't not happen without struggle.
Right. Well,
And so I appreciate you struggling with us.
The important thing is we're all equal.
Absolutely. So what's the next aspect?
After intellectual, creative.
Absolutely. And the creative aspect, very important, because that lets everybody know creation usually comes for us, our reality, through our behaviors. What we do, sometimes we justify whatever we do, sometimes we blame it on others, sometimes whatever, but our behavior is what we usually use for our creation. And it's very easy to change the behavior. We got a call? Yes, we got a caller. Caller.
Mr. Smith,
Yes, sir.
how you doing? How are you?
I'm a blessed man. Is this
I
Mr.
got a
Sabag?
message telling me to call at 7:45.
Okay, well, I didn't know whether you got my message, sir.
Well, I'm on the phone, so here I am.
I hear you. Oh, well, how you feeling today?
I'm sore.
You feeling better?
Yeah, a little.
Well, you stay right on the line right second there, you know, because, you know, I want you to read for me, Mr. Graham. Today is the 30th, right? So this, I have a daily reading. Are you listening, Mr. Savage?
I'm listening, but I couldn't get you on the.
Well, just stay on the phone. Just stay there, because Mr. Graham is going to read today's guidance. Read it, Mr. Graham.
Can you hear me, Jamie?
I can hear you. How you doing?
How's it going?
Good. Good.
Wait.
Yourself?
Good, great. Well,
All right.
for December 30th, taking good care of our health is most important. In particular, it is vital for those who are advanced in years to get sufficient rest to avoid becoming fatigued. Sleep is the best medicine. I also hope you will put your wisdom to work and find various ways to improve and maintain your health.
Right, thank you so much. So how you doing, Mr. Savak?
Good. Good.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, you know. So we was here, you know, you were supposed to be a guest on the show, and for some, you know, because of health reasons, you know, and I'm glad we have technology and we were thinking because you still can be on here. So why don't you tell the audience who you are in relationship to the paradigm shift, first of all?
Well, I am too. Oh, wow. It's a tough question. Well, I got introduced to the paradigm shift, obviously, through you.
Absolutely. And what is your role? What is your role?
Well, I took on the social aspect.
So you're the coordinator of the social aspect?
Well, I am, yes.
Well, what does that mean?
Well, I just figured, since I was going to do that anyway, that I would take that aspect.
What?
I mean, I don't understand the question, really.
Okay, I'm sorry, let me make it a little clearer for you. So what is it about the social aspect in you in relationship to you growing to the greatness of yourself? How do you see you being the coordinator of the social aspect? How does this help you?
Well, it helps me grow because I'm using my social aspect. I'm nurturing my social aspect by taking on that job that I did. I was able to talk to everybody, and it's basically self-explanatory. I mean.
Mm-hmm. So as you begin to become start working and communicating with social people, with people.
I'm being right. I'm working on my social self.
Oh, well, that's a wonderful thing. And you're also the communications coordinator, is that correct?
That is correct.
Can you tell us what it means to be the communications coordinator?
I really don't know. I'm still learning.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
Well,
He's honest.
that's
Huh?
right.
I said,
I'm just going as I go.
Right. Well,
So, you know.
basically, the paradigm shift has grown to the point, whether you realize this or not, that it's too big for me to think that it's not something that I can deal with by myself. So in order for us to really grow into the greatness of ourselves, that means everybody has to continue, to do. I can't do this without you all. It's just impossible. I have grown as far as I can possibly grow by myself with the paradigm shift, and if it's going to get any greater and any bigger, it has to be, through the development of all the awesome folks that are part of this. And so that's what your role is. I was hoping that you would be able to come on, because before we've grown to that point. This is where we're at. We have a communications coordinator. We have a coordinator of the social aspect. We have a coordinator of the emotional aspect, and we have a coordinator of the social aspect. And the thing, I'm so glad because everything came into place. Because when Mr. Grayman read that, it really said it. I really could see that we do have to take care of our health. In order, the health is the most important thing. If you don't got good health, what you gonna do? That's the body's the castle. So I'm really encouraging you all to really see, that you're very important to this whole process, and so you must take care of your health. For me. I have a dentist appointment tomorrow, New Year's Eve, and my mind said to me, "Man,
Don't go.
you ain't gonna go to no dentist appointment on New
You don't
Year's."
need. Yeah, you can reschedule.
Yeah, I ain't gonna. That's what my mind said. You know what? But you know what I told my mind?
Thanks for sharing.
Absolutely. I told my
Thanks for
mind,
sharing.
thanks for sharing that information, but I'm going to the dentist anyway. Well, listen, Mrs. Savage, I'm so glad that you were able to call in, because, this goes to show, that you are an awesome entity, and, you're going to see the fruits of your labor and feel it, especially when we get with these young people, when they start taking over and taking us someplace.
passing the torch.
But listen, it's great to hear from you. Any last comments you'd like to share with us for the end of the year?
Well, no, not really, but I did want to ask.
Well, I guess not. But we'll go back to Mr. Grayman
He hung
here.
up.
So, to make a long story short, so the 9 aspects we're going to go over is sexual, it's physical, it's social, it's emotional, it's spiritual, okay? It's intellectual, it's creative, it's financial, and it's psychological. And, our coordinator, so I want to just make sure we keep realizing that, because there's certain aspects that we feed and nurture. And you're the coordinator of what aspect, Mr.?
Intellectual.
The intellectual. And why is it that you think that, why are you the coordinator intellectual aspect?
Well, honestly, I feel like I could be the coordinator of all of them. Because, and truly, I touch. Oh, there's another caller.
Okay. Caller? Hello?
Hi, Walter.
What? Is that you, Linda?
That's me.
Oh, my goodness. That's you there?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. So, you heard him read that thing about health, right?
Yes.
And didn't I tell you the rest?
Yeah, you did. But I'm sitting here watching the show.
And you called it. Well, I ain't going to say nothing else. So, and you're the coordinator of what, Linda?
Emotional.
The emotional aspect of the awesome self. Now, one thing, Linda been on this show a couple of times, and so, I'm just talking about when you really know an awesome entity and you see something growing and growing and growing. So, we have a clip to roll in for her, at one point in time, but I remember in the beginning of dealing with her. I'm absolutely clear that, seeing her in her life, because I've been with her from the beginning, before she started college, before everything. And